I open our meetings with a prayer, and then we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, we just humbly submit ourselves to you this morning, Lord, seeking always the wisdom that we need to make the best decisions, Lord, that benefit those who live here in Laclede County. Thank you for those individuals that represent companies and vendors that have taken time out of their day to be with us, to help us with the services that we provide. And we look forward to their suggestions and how we might implement those here in the county, again, to benefit those who've given us this privilege to be here at this table to make those decisions. Lord, we're just grateful for all that you give us each and every day, and Lord, may none of that be taken for granted. And whether it's the weather and all of its seasons, Lord, whether it's just the everyday nutrition that we receive and our well-being and the well-being of those here in the county. So we never want to take any of that for granted, especially our freedoms, Lord. We just pray that everything we would do and say here this morning would bring honor and glory to your name. Amen. Amen. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, no disrespect, guys, but it always sounds better when we have
more
a choir here behind us.
I understand it's kind of
All right, let's
deafening
sing
out.
the national anthem.
You can leave. You can
Okay,
leave.
so here's what we have this morning, and I've shared this with our guests. We're going to give them a somewhat brief opportunity to make their introduction and presentation. Then I'm going to ask for a closed session, and then after that, we'll come back into open session, and then I've spoken with Bryan. That'd be fine with him. He can do email and take care of things, and then we can go on about the road trip or whatever we had scheduled. Okay, so sometimes things get thrown at the last minute, and we just have to be able to adjust. So other items that I'll add just briefly, a couple of updates on opioid, but I'll do that when we get back into regular session. So do you have any objections to that?
Don't see any at this time, no, sir.
Okay. All right. So then I'll quickly dispense with the minutes. If I can have a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve as written.
I'll second it.
Have a motion second to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approved. Okay, now we'll just jump into our agenda items. More, Jeremy. And we will turn the floor over to Kyle from Purple Wave. And Kyle, you make your introduction and tell us what you think we should know.
Thank you,
There's
sir.
another one of those cards for your collection.
You bet. Yeah, start collecting them.
I'll move a face here for face y'all. I'm Kyle Eastwood, Purple Wave Auction. We're an online auction provider. We're 100% no reserve auction, and we sell all our assets from where they sit. We have 5 auction categories that repeat on a bi-weekly basis. Today is the government auction. You got a flyer there for today's auction. So every other Tuesday, like 2 weeks from today, there'll be another government auction. The cities, counties, and states, that's where we put all their assets. So there could be just about anything in that auction. And we've got a lot of new government entities coming on in our expansion areas. We've recently were invested in by Coparton at the end of 2023, so we went nationwide. I spent the last 18 months down in Tampa, Florida, building a new territory for them. This territory opened up, so I moved back up here to the Midwest where I'm from, and that's why I'm here today talking to y'all. But we sell the assets from where it sits. We don't charge the sellers in our government auctions a seller's fee. We come to you, we take the pictures on site, do all the listings, we handle the title work. We just need the signed titles. We have a title department that transfers that all after the asset's been sold and paid for. several, in counties in the area that we could lean on for recommendations, I'm sure. I'm getting ready to go over to the city next and do their assets for an upcoming auction. We'll be taking pictures next week for them. It's pretty basic, real simple. We're full service. Only thing we ask on our partner side, on the seller side, is to have a on-site contact, somebody that our buyers or bidders can call. So that gives them a little bit extra confidence to bid on that asset. And if they don't know anything about it, they don't know anything about it. Just, we're looking for transparency and honesty and good partners. So, y'all got any questions?
So the scope or range of, like, do you have many sheriff's vehicles?
Yeah.
I've seen one in here probably, so.
Yeah, several sheriff's fleet vehicles, public works, anything from, like I said, construction equipment, forklifts, battery chargers, you name it. It's a pretty wide variety.
We do purchase our vehicles for law enforcement. We don't lease those, so that might be an opportunity for us to stick our toe in the water, if you will.
Yeah, no, be happy to.
Do you often have people who will sell items with known problems?
Yeah.
And they're stated?
Yeah,
on-
absolutely,
okay.
absolutely, that's what we're looking for. If you say, hey man, this just rolled out, transmission's going out, it won't shift past third, perfect. Transmission issues, or must be towed and hauled. Battery dead when we took the pictures, so we had to jump start for the video, we'll put that in there. You don't have to replace a battery that we had to jump start because we're gonna note it. Now, is that gonna ding you? The guy's gonna be like, oh, I gotta spend $300 on a battery. Maybe, but you don't have to. And the buyer already knows what they're coming to get.
Where that transparency part comes
Yes.
in there and being upfront
Yeah,
and everything, so
yes,
yeah.
sir.
Okay, Carl, we have your contact
Yes, sir.
information. I'm gonna visit with our sheriff. We had at least one vehicle that I think they were attempting to sell. And I'll visit with him and see if this is a possibility on that particular vehicle. Okay.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Any other questions for Kyle?
No, I don't believe I have any.
Kyle, thank you, and thanks for understanding the brevity of the meeting.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your time. This is all I needed. Good to meet you. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Good to see you again. Take care.
And that's our road foreman right there, Jerrod Shepherd as well.
Jerrod?
I worked with Purple Wave a little bit before, Camden County, and they sold a lot of graders up there, and very smooth transaction. I mean, we had a grader up there, transmission was out, like I said, they come take pictures, they know everything, but that grader, we was all shocked what it brought. And when we sold, there was probably 8 graders, I think we ended up selling there after another contract come in, a new lease come in. Just about everything went to Mexico.
Yeah.
On that equipment, a lot of stuff.
It's
equipment.
pre-electronics.
But it brings
Mhm.
very
They're
premium price.
surprising what they're willing to pay and drag it down there.
And like I said, there was when they took it after the sale, I'd have the shipper set up the trucking stuff. They would call me and say, hey, we're gonna be having a truck here that day. Everything went smooth, Very, very well organized business.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Kyle, we were talking. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next we will allow Bryan from Great River to introduce himself.
I'm really glad he stood up because I talk better when I'm standing up. I like to move around a little bit. So hey,
I don't know, at our commissioners meeting, you were doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Before I get started, I spent 25 years in county government with Boone and Cole, and I got way more return on my graders, my dump trucks, and everything by using Purple Wave. I used Gov Deals prior to that. Gov Deals always got us something, but this opens you up to a worldwide market. And we sold several motor graders to Ukraine, and they had 25,000 hours on them, and they still brought 30 grand. So, anyways, I'm not advocating for him. Don't even know the guy, but I know Purple Wave, and it is a good business to get into as far as county government goes. So hey, I'm here today to talk to you guys a little bit. I know Jeremy Lefty Manning here is been talking to you guys about your BRO program, so I'm going to leave that part out. But what I do want to talk to you about is your CDL program. Now I know I've talked to Joe. You don't really have any need for that right now.
And paving.
And paving, yes. We're going to go look at some roads.
Yeah.
After their closed session meeting today. But I want to be here for you as an ex-county employee now with Great River Engineering and help you design a CDL program that you, as the road foreman, will be the training provider. Currently, if you hire a person without a CDL, you remember my speech there at CCAM, it's hard to find folks to even come to work nowadays in 2026. We're in a different market, different environment with the new generation, and what we're looking for to hire in county governments is more of our farm kids and stuff that want to stay home, they want to be local, they got cows, they got sheep, they got things they have to take care of, but they need a job to supplement that income. So by advertising for that type of person, it's likely that they won't have a CDL license. I know in county government, you're going to have guys that are getting ready to turn 62, and that surf retirement and that loggers, they're ready to start drawing that. And a lot of times they can make more money retired than they can working, right? By the time they get Social Security, surf, and loggers, they're drawing more in being retired than they are working. So we need to start thinking about bringing young folks in, young men and women, and helping them get their CDL license. And currently, if you send them to Case down here on the highway, you're going to spend $5,000 to do that. It's going to cost you $5,000. If they need to stay away, you're going to have to pay for their hotel. Now you've invested this money in them, they're marketable. They can go to work anywhere. They can go to work for FedEx. No offense to the county government, FedEx can pay better than you can. And young people aren't worried about the benefits because they'll tell you they can't eat those. And they're a long ways away from retirement. So we're going to set the road foreman up to be the training provider for CDL. He has to provide training to these folks before they can go down to Case to take or express CDL to take this test. You call them and you set it up, they're going to tell him they need to know how to drive. They got to know how to drive before they go down there. And they're going to need to know a little bit about the truck. They're going to need to know how to alley dock. They're going to need to know how to parallel park it. That's what they're going to tell you. What they don't tell you is that's training. And through the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, if he provides that training, all he's got to do is go online and say that they've completed a certain amount of hours doing that. And that doesn't cost a thing. The only part that does cost, that they actually have to pay for it, Case or Express CDL, is what's called theory. Theory is the classroom training that gets you prepared for the pre-trip inspection. J.J. Keller offers that with a Bryan Boyce discount for $212.50. That's the amount of money that you will have invested in a person to bring them in to get them their CDL. That's cheap, it's easy, and it's creating some loyalty between the person that you hired. You helped them get their CDL. Express CDL didn't do it, you did it. The folks out at the Road and Bridge Department did it. Now they're working for you. Maybe they got an automatic restriction. If you have automatic dump trucks, there's nothing wrong with them having an automatic restriction. They can't drive a standard, they're not as marketable, okay? Getting folks in after they've been here for a couple of years, 14 paid holidays, they get, all of this time off and they're home every night at 5 o'clock. Working for the county government was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I'm so glad that I was able to do it. After 25 years, it was time for me to move on, but let's think about this. When you start getting these folks retired out, I want you to reach out to me and say, hey, let's get this thing started. If we start it now and we don't have anybody to bring on, if we don't put somebody through the program, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration kicks you out. Because they're like, are you fake? Are you real? So I'm going to give you my business card. As soon as you start having people kind of move out from and retiring and stuff, let's get this program started. It's easy. There's nothing to it. You were training drivers before. Sometimes you'd hire them with a B. Maybe they needed an A. You were already doing it. It's just some red tape that was created back in 2020 to say you have to have training before you can come take the test because they didn't like failing people. So aside from that, Great River, that's a free service that Great River offers. We charge nothing for that, for me to come and set you guys up and get you help. And then also, as you guys know, we provide civil engineering services for road pavement, for bridges, sidewalks, everything else. So love to partner up with you guys. I know you've worked with Jeremy in the past, but looking forward to developing a relationship with you folks. Jeremy, you got anything to add?
He knows a ton about roads. So, and you guys had called and asked questions about asphalt. And there's probably, I tell people every now and then, I go to the county or I go to somewhere and put in like a SOQ, statement of qualifications for a project. And I can stand up generally and say, I'm probably the only engineer I know that ever paved for a living. But this guy got 25 years of paving experience, which is very valuable. So kind of a cool thing that we have, is a lot of resources. Got a lot more resources than I've ever been used to, and that's been pretty wild for me. Didn't really get to say that at our meeting the other day because, wow. Okay, that was interesting. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah.
That got a little wild, I think.
Could have been, yeah.
I've seen it
A little
worse,
Western.
though.
Yeah.
I've seen it worse. I've seen a commissioner yelling at a state rep one time.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You know what? I was in a meeting yesterday morning and I said, I will say this, I never really got a sense of how well commissioners stand up for their constituents. And it was every single county that was there.
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed. And so I told another county that yesterday, that was also there. I said, I want to thank you because that's the first time I've been doing this for a long time. That's the first time I can really say I've noticed just how commissioners stand up for their people. So thank you. I was very proud of watching all of y'all.
Yeah, it was a great meeting.
Yeah.
I was glad to be there.
Okay, so do we have any questions for Bryan or Jeremy at this point?
Not at this time. Not.
And it was a pleasure to meet you. It's the first time I've got to meet you.
Yeah.
So.
I do have one thing to go over.
Sure.
So this is applications for this is an example application. You and I had talked about this on the phone. Go ahead.
You go ahead and then I'm gonna give you something MoDOT sent me, because that may be the same thing.
Okay. So this is an example application. You said you wanted to see it.
You bet.
That is what has to be filled out whenever the time comes, which is coming pretty quick. Go ahead.
So MoDOT is aware that we want to program Livingston, okay? So Bailey sent me what looks like the application ready for us to go with. Yeah, so what I'd like to do is let you look at that, if you don't care. I explained to Joe that I know Great River provides that service, but MoDOT will do it for no cost. And I don't think you would be objectionable, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I don't think you'd be objectionable if you review this and you give us your approval. Then we allow MoDOT to complete that, and we can keep $500 or whatever in the pocket of the local taxpayer. Absolutely. And then on the back end, hopefully that will be beneficial for everyone.
So you need one more. So I'm gonna give you this one and ask them if they would be so generous as to help you with one more.
Okay.
And you're the only district that I know of that's getting that, so you need to probably call and say thank you. I knew they were gonna do that, by the way.
Bailey and Joni are amazing.
They're fantastic.
And,
yeah.
So I used to work with Joni's husband, Matt Printer. He's the Cole County engineer. So I got to know Joni really well, but Bailey we work with Bailey on the construction side all the time, just invoicing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The reason why we do the applications is some commissioners don't want to have to try to navigate through that process, because it is a process. But with Bailey, I absolutely, if save yourself the money of doing it, and have her navigate it.
Yeah, if we don't charge by their rules, then we're disqualified.
Yes.
So we don't want that, and it's not in your best interest, because the pickings are slim.
Right.
You like that? I threw that in.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want a copy of that, and here's the big, I think I could just review, I could review that cost estimate really would be the main thing. Because there are certain things, and I've realized more and more, there are things that I see after have done, I can't even count the number of these through my career. What if you reroute this channel a little bit? That'll be a little extra cost, but it's also better hydraulics. You can't skew this style of bridge more than 35 degrees. The only way you can do that, things that come with having designed bridges for 18 years. So I could look at that estimate, and we're fine with that.
Right.
Yeah,
That would be great.
The date on there was 24 on this particular one, so I don't know after you review that.
Little inflation.
Yeah, if we need to reconsider any part of that. And then the other thing would be, I don't know that reflects our current soft match balance, which I'll need to get from Bailey, because
It's available online.
I can have your soft match balance when we come back in the
Okay.
session. I'll have your number ready.
okay, because we just
I'm
completed
sorry, I didn't look this morning.
Atlanta. He's got the final closeout on that.
I've got my computer and everything.
Bobcat.
Was it Bobcat?
Pretty easy.
As soon as we come out, we'll.
That was what that one was? Was
So you don't have a lot left.
No, and so my point of that would be then it would require cash from us to make our match if we don't have a sufficient soft match balance. We used a lot of that on Bobcat in Atlanta. I don't think it's a great amount. Looking at that, it could be maybe depending on where the balance is at, 100 to 120,000 that we would need to come up with rough numbers.
20% is what you should budget.
Right.
We may end up getting different numbers from MoDOT, but it'll at least be 80% on there.
You remember how Atlanta was 12.6%.
Well, we were part of
Just say
that bucket that we all got some reduction on, right? I think it came in at 12 and a half or roughly something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
So Nation is your second priority, right?
Yeah, it's one that was brought up to be looked at to see what can be done there because of the way that one laid out is why I wanted you to look at it.
Between the two, structurally, it's not even close. Livingston is structurally far worse.
Oh, correct. I'll agree to that.
And to Jeremy's point, we can submit up to 3 and we have to rank them
So
1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
last year, you only or the last submittal process was only 2.
Well, last round, we didn't submit any.
Right.
And then the previous round, we submitted the 2. One of them was already banked that we were fortunate that MoDOT went ahead and allowed us to move forward with that one. That was Bobcat. And then we were able to get Atlanta as part of the new BRO program. Yeah.
I'll have your number in just.
Which helped you out because they lowered the match requirement to, and depending what district. So Central District was around 12.5%. Southeast District was 11.8%. So it's a little different. But point is it wasn't 20. And I've told people for years, at the end of the day, 20% is a lot better than 80%. I think doesn't take much of a mathematician to realize that. So even Bobcat, of course, you guys had the benefit of the soft match, which is great. Not everybody has that. So, but anyway, so Nation. So the point is, you guys didn't, but statewide they only allowed 2 priorities, and we don't know what they'll do this time. If it's going to go back to 3, my guess is it's probably going to be 2. And the reality is you're probably not going to get more than 2 anyway. So.
And what I heard was that the inflationary cost will be a driving factor in that because all their previous estimates came in higher than what they they plan for, so.
Yeah, and I've seen it across the state, depending on who does it, there's a lot of counties that wind up going and they'll do it themselves, and they're trying to push away from that. So at first, whenever this first came out, they were sitting and saying, you know, you have an estimate on MoDOT's website. So that you can get on right there, and I could show you in 2 minutes how to do it. You can get an estimate off MoDOT's website. Well, then all of a sudden, well, these estimates really aren't right. I mean, I looked at a 65-foot bridge in St. John that had $1.5 million on it. And so the state themselves called and they were like, this is not right, is it? And I said, that bridge is $360 a square foot, no matter how you spend it. You know, which would put it about 700,000. And so, then they'll turn around and have a 60-foot bridge that's $300,000. So there was a little bit, and so it's caused some inaccuracies. You know, people who bid bridges every day really should be looking at that number to get it as accurate as possible and allow for inflation.
Your soft match balance as of January 31st of 2026 is $97,859.09. That's $97,859.09.
So that is up to date, because that's after allocation.
Okay.
So what they've done, or even Atlanta, once all of that is, even if it wasn't closed out completely, that's already updated. Because they'll take that final cost estimate at bid, and then any subsequent change orders or anything, and they update based off of CE obligation. Which is construction.
Okay, so with that, then I need to, I don't know, Jerrod, you're going on the road trip too, or no? No, you're not, okay.
I have some, well, I've got another meeting in Mountain Grove.
Okay,
But I have some measurements I was gonna take for Nation.
okay.
But I'm gonna tell you, if you.
For
can
Nation
talk-
or Livingston?
For Nation.
Okay.
Yeah, not Livingston. I got Livingston.
Okay.
If you're gonna get, I think I said Livingston earlier, so.
Yeah.
If you could talk them into doing that, even if they want, you know, say, hey, look at, cause there is some little bit of string things that needs to be done to keep your skew down on Nation.
On Nation.
Livingston's a lot more straightforward, and they had my old one of these, which probably would help them out too.
Okay.
So I can just relook at this and just shoot you a text and say, you know, bump up your estimate for this or whatever.
Okay, so you've left the commission a work authorization
Yeah, don't-
agreement on Nation.
Don't sign that.
Okay.
If you can talk them into doing that.
Okay.
If you can talk them into doing it, then let's not worry about it and save the county
Okay.
a little bit of money.
You bet.
If you need me to, then you have my email address, sign it and say, hey, get on the road and get everything figured out.
If they're initiating it and helping you through the process and you get hung up on anything, we can help you with it, and there won't be any charge for that.
Okay.
As long as they're initiating it, if we do it and we don't charge, we disqualify.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't wanna be disqualified. That's our biggest deal.
That's
And
their
we
rule,
do-
not ours.
You know, and I talked to, whenever I came on board with GRE, I talked to Jason about it because I do know what a lot of other firms have tried to do in the past. Now, they are being major sticklers on it now, so they will be looking into this. If firms are doing this for free, and it has been done a lot in the past, we all know that. But if they are now, they're gonna be a lot more strict on looking into it. And we do so many, you know, we're gonna be in the spotlight a little bit, is how I was told by MoDOT. You know, we're doing now almost 60% of them in the state.
Wow.
And so, you know, we have a lot more to look at, or for someone to, so it's a bigger target.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
So what I would recommend then, so you're gonna be traveling, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Um,
I'll look at this for you.
okay. Okay, and I suspect, Bryan, you'll get a text from us here in half hour roughly or so. And then at that point, we'll just have a quick clean up the agenda. Probably won't take 10 minutes to do that. and then we can load up and take the road trip to look at the roads.
I'm parked right out front. I'll be out there in my truck.
Okay.
You've got my cell there.
Yes, sir.
I've got your number in my phone, so
Perfect.
you text me whenever you're ready for me to come back in.
Okay.
I'll hop in
And
the
then,
truck with you and ride out.
Jerrod, you're gonna
Sounds
be
good.
part of that road trip too, I hope, right? Okay, so at this point then, I would ask for a motion to go into closed session, please.
Move for closed session.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to enter closed session. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, we're now in closed session.